Hello, everybody. Welcome to the halftime show of Super Tuesday. Just kidding. Welcome to Fedi Office Hours. This is a time for the Fedi team to share some cool things that we're working on and to answer some live questions from you, our users, in real time. This week, we've got an action-packed episode. We're going to be going over some new features in the Fedi app, and we're also going to be taking a deep dive into the newly launched Fedimint Web SDK. So before diving into the Web SDK, we're going to talk about a couple of new features. The first new feature is melting eCash support, or melting Cashew eCash support in the Fedi app. This is super exciting. In the past, you've been able to send money between Cashew wallets and the Fedi app via Lightning, but now you can natively transfer, or you can natively scan Cashew eCash tokens using the Fedi app. This is super exciting. I can show a quick demo of this feature. To use this feature, all you have to do is go to your Fedi app and hit the scan button, and then paste in or scan a Fedi or a Cashew eCash token. You'll see this pop up, and you can hit continue and melt the eCash token, which is pretty freaking cool. That's it for the melting Cashew eCash. The next feature is portable Nostr keys. So as a part of using the Fedi app, you get assigned an npub and an nsec, so you can use Nostr social applications inside of Fedi mods. And in the past, these keys were only inside of your Fedi app, but now you can export these keys to be used in other clients. So to access your Nostr keys, all you have to do is go to settings by clicking your profile picture, and then scroll down to Nostr settings. Then inside of Nostr settings, you can see that you can have access to your Nostr public key and your Nostr secret key. When using other Nostr clients, you're going to want to copy this secret key and then log in to your other Nostr clients. And then you'll have the same profile inside of your Fedi app and these other Nostr clients. Fantastic. So those are all of the new features we're going to talk about. The majority of this live stream is going to be on the Fedimint Web SDK. Allow me to share my screen real quick in a different way. So we're going to do a deep dive into the Fedimint Web SDK. We're going to talk about how, and as a part of this deep dive, we're going to build a Fedimint wallet from scratch together in about 20 minutes without writing a single line of Rust. If you want to follow along with the slides, feel free. You can access the slides at bit.ly/sdk-workshop-slides. Yeah, there will be other opportunities to scan this as well. But without further ado, let's get started. So we have a couple of to-dos, or a few to-dos. We're going to talk about the state of Fedimint app development. We're going to talk about the Web SDK at a high level. We're going to do the workshop where we actually build a wallet together in about 20 minutes. And then we're going to talk about some takeaways. So background, the current status of building on Bitcoin and Fedimint. We're going to talk about the existing ecosystem and why we need yet another library. So for those of you who don't know, Fedimint is the protocol that the Fedi app is built upon. Fedimint combines two different things. It combines federated custody and Chaumian eCash. The Chaumian eCash lets us have incredibly fast and reliable payments. They're also very private. The federated custody fixes the single point of failure problem. So we can have the Chaumian eCash system without relying on just a single server that can go down at any time. So combining these two things, we get Fedimint. Fedimint allows you to have completely interoperable payments between Lightning and on-chain Bitcoin. And there's a bunch of awesome features in Fedimint. Everybody loves it. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody wants to use it. There's a ton of awesome features, such as on-chain support, innovative custody solution, privacy by default, Lightning support, natively asynchronous, which is very important for app development. You have backup and recovery built in, and auditable reserves. Wow, look at all of the features. It's so amazing. There is a thriving ecosystem of Fedimint tooling as well. You can see at the top of this list, we have the Fedimint client. This is the flagship Fedimint client written in Rust. It's bulletproof and awesome. It supports the biggest, this is what Fedi uses. There's also the Fedimint HTTP client, which wraps or gives an API for exposing a Fedimint client D instance, which allows you to run a wallet inside of a server. And we have a bunch of language bindings. So you can see there's just a thriving ecosystem of libraries and tooling inside of Fedimint. Something worth noting is that we can't really call all of these different things just, they're not all the same. The ones at the bottom, these four at the bottom, all require running a Fedimint client D server. So if you're building a wallet application, it's not the most useful thing in the world. Most of the time, if you're building a wallet application, you can't rely on having a server for a single user. So really, we have one awesome library, the Fedimint client library, written in Rust. But yeah, so also, in addition to our libraries, we have an incredible ecosystem of wallets. We have the Fedimint CLI, which allows you to have a wallet in the command line. That's great for debugging and testing. We have the Fedi wallet, which is the flagship amazing wallet that everybody knows and loves. We have Fedimint, Mutiny wallet, and Harbor, some other awesome wallets. Yes, and this is a tweet that rings true from the people that made Mutiny wallet. Yes, Mutiny, once they added Fedimint support, everybody can shut up about Fedimint not existing. It's finally out in the world. Well, unfortunately, actually, of the awesome wallets that we have out there, there's several of them that are written in the Rust programming language. This is noteworthy because this is not the normal tool set that people use to make applications. Rust is an expert language, and most application developers don't know Rust. But of the use of the wallets in the ecosystem, these are the ones written in Rust. All of them are written in Rust. Just keep that in mind. Also, we can't really take credit for all of these wallets because the Fedimint CLI is a command line wallet that's not usable by anybody but developers. Fedimint actually admits that it's a hackathon project and you shouldn't trust it with your money. Also, Mutiny wallet, unfortunately, is shutting down. So we're kind of limited. We got Fedi and Harbor, but this is a bit concerning that we only have two wallets. What's going on? This Fedimint is the most amazing thing since sliced bread. It's got all these awesome features. Why are there only two wallets available for users? Where is everybody? Again, we have all of these incredible features, and we don't have a bunch of wallets. Everybody should be super excited about this. So why don't we have wallets? Why don't we have projects? What's the problem? Can anybody think of what the problem is with Fedimint, of why there's not a billion wallets out there? Well, spoiler alert, this is the problem. This is a nice little graphic describing some of the learning curves associated with different Bitcoin tooling. We have LN-Bits, we have Polar, we have Miniscript, Fedimint, and Embedded Lightning. The one we're focusing on Fedimint. Can anybody spot the problem? There's the problem. The problem is the learning curve. There's a very, very steep learning curve. And this deters the vast majority of application developers from even starting with Fedimint because it's so hard to use at the beginning. Once you get it up and running, it solves a lot of your problems for you, and it gives you all these features for free. But historically, it's been very challenging to use Fedimint. Yeah, so Fedimint's a very complex Rust project. This dramatically limits the pool of contributors. Even on the Fedimint documentation website or in the README on the Fedimint repo, the docs admit that Fedimint is an advanced Rust project. It's a great place to learn Rust, but they're always looking for experienced Rust developers to help with the core code base. This dramatically limits the number of people that are able to build things with Fedimint. But does it have to be? What if we could utilize Fedimint's core Rust libraries, but we wrap it in a library with a simple developer interface? And this is the motivation behind the Fedimint Web SDK. The Fedimint Web SDK allows normal application developers to build Fedimint into their applications. So by using this toolkit, you can build a robust, privacy-focused, also WebAssembly-powered wallet directly into your application. This is something we've been working on for a couple of months now. There's a bunch of people starting to tinker with it and build projects on it, but we're very, very happy about announcing this to the world. So the mission of the Fedimint Web SDK is to build the best possible developer experience for building on Bitcoin, period. We want to lower the barrier of entry to building privacy-focused, robust, safe applications for users. Yeah, and we are going to explore that a bit today. So there's several components in the Fedimint Web SDK. We have a WASM-powered, a WebAssembly-powered client. This takes the fault-tolerant Rust library and then lazy loads it inside of a web worker, and it does this all in the background, so you don't have to worry about it. It supports Lightning and eCash payments natively. So as soon as you add this one dependency, you have fully functioning Lightning and eCash payments for your users. It handles state management for you. This is a very important note, or a very important quality. Typically, the hardest part about building an eCash wallet is the state management, keeping track of what eCash nodes are spent or unspent. But the Fedimint Web SDK handles that all for you. And the result is that it makes it actually very hard for the developer to accidentally lose the user's money. If they're using the library at all, then they should have a fault-tolerant and safe application. And lastly, this library is intended to be framework agnostic. What that means is any application that uses JavaScript should be able to use the Fedimint Web SDK. And we have an example on the docs website for a project that uses vanilla JavaScript. So yeah, if it works in vanilla JavaScript, it works anywhere. All right, let's build a wallet together in 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to create a UI together using AI tools. We're going to add the Fedimint Web SDK to our project, and we're going to hook it all up and make it work all together. So let's get started. So in order to get started, we're going to use a starter template that I've created. If you want to follow along, you're welcome to. I don't recommend to follow along at the moment while I'm going through this. I'll be going pretty quick. But we do have links available if you want to rewatch the recording and go through exactly what I'm going. I will be going through yourself. So to get started, I have the repo clones right here. We can run pnpm dev, and this is a Vite plus React library. Right now, there's nothing there; it just says hello world. But this will be the basis of our application. The point of this is just it's an empty template that we can build on top of the Web SDK with. So what are we going to do? We're going to create a wallet, and the wallet is going to be able to send and receive over Lightning, and it's also going to be able to send and receive over Fedimint, or using Fedimint eCash. So it's the end result is going to be something that looks kind of like Albi, but without all of the bells and whistles. Yeah, so to get started, you're going to want to run git clone on the repo. You can just find the link and clone the repo, run pnpmi to grab the dependencies, and then pnpm dev. And that's just what I've done here. We've run pnpmi already, so now we can run pnpm dev and spin up the application. You should see hello world. Next, we're going to go to the Fedimint Web SDK docs and follow the Getting Started guide. So this is the Fedimint Web SDK documentation website. It explains what the library is. We're going to follow the Getting Started guide. So getting started, disclaimer, this is very new, use with caution. The first thing that we're going to do is add the package, the Fedimint Core Web package to our library. So we can copy this and go to our terminal and run pnpm add. And this will install the dependency to our project. While that's loading, next thing we're going to do is do some framework setup. There's different instructions for each of the different frameworks. We're using Vite plus React, so let's follow the Vite instructions. There's a couple of extra dependencies that we have to install just to make WASM work inside of Vite. Let's wait for this to be installed. Awesome. Now we're going to reinstall this dependency, and this should be installed into our project. As soon as this is done, we're going to update our configuration file, our Vite config. So whenever using Vite, you have a vite.config.ts. We just have a few things to add. The first is Vite plugin WASM. This lets us use WASM inside of our Vite project. So we're going to import Vite plugin WASM. Then we're going to add the WASM plugin to our plugins list. Oops. Then we're going to add some worker settings, and this optimize depths exclude. We don't want the bundler messing with our library. Cool. Then once this setup is done, we can run the application. Oh, it's already running. When we run the application, we still have hello world. That is good. We haven't done anything yet. Awesome. Okay, so the first bit of code we're going to write is the wallet code. We're going to create a file called wallet.ts. We're going to pull in the Fedimint wallet class from the core web package that we just installed. We're going to instantiate a wallet object. We're going to attach it to global this. This is just for debugging purposes. You wouldn't actually do this in production. We're going to set the log level to debug. This will just give us some better logs in the console. And then we are going to export that wallet. So yeah, just for convenience and the comments of the presentation. Code to. So inside of lib, we're going to create a new file called wallet.ts, and we're going to paste the Fedimint wallet. We're going to paste this right here. Awesome. Yeah, the linter was yelling at me, but we're all good now. So again, we're importing the Fedimint wallet. We are instantiating a new wallet object. We're attaching it to global this so we can interact with the wallet in the browser console. We're going to set the log level to debug so we have some better logs, and we're going to export that wallet. Now, inside of our application, just to make sure this is working all fine, we're going to import wallet from the lib/wallet, just like this. And we are going to console.log wallet just to make sure that it's being accessed in our application. And now when we go back to our hello world, whoops. Now when we go back to hello world, we can open inspect elements and we can see a lot of logs happening in the client. So we can see that the worker has been initiated or initialized. We can see that there's it's been loaded completely. We can also see that we have a web worker spun up in the background. We have a web worker spun up in the background that's managed by Fedimint. So the library is working as expected. So let's bump this up a bit. Okay, what's next? Next, we're going to build the entire UI using AI tools. So we have a prompt. Okay, so this is a tool called Vercel v0. Vercel v0 is rocking the front-end world. You can give it a prompt to build components, and then it exports those components so that you can just pull them straight into your projects. So I have a prompt ready to go. I want to create a UI for a basic wallet app. The app should use React plus Vite, just like the tools that we're using. It should have a balance, a send button, which opens a simple form with one string field called an invoice, and a receive button, which opens a simple form with one number field called amount. Pretty simple. So this is Vercel v0. I'm just going to paste our prompt in here and hit go. Now this is thinking. It's going to create a basic wallet app UI using React and Vite. You can see that it's writing some code for us. And okay, that's kind of cool. So it has a mock handler. Yeah, you can see the component coming to life. Oh, that looks awesome. We have a wallet, we have a balance, we have a send and receive button. We have mock handlers for sending and receiving. That's great. That'll make it easy. Still thinking. I'm guessing it's putting in the logic for the forms. Oh, no, now it's just summarizing the component, what it just did. So to preview this, we can hit send. Oh, that's great. So we can hit an amount to send. Actually, this isn't perfectly right. This should be an invoice. This should be a, yeah, so mix this up. The send button should have the stringable, or the string invoice, and the receive button should have the amount that's a number, but that's okay. We can fix that in a moment. But this looks pretty good. So to pull this into our project, we're going to click this button up here, add to code base. We're going to copy the command it gives us, and we are going to add the component directly into our project. What this does is it's really, really cool. It gives you a link that contains API tokens, so you can just import. Oh, whoops. That should. Interesting. Oh, I did not use PNP. We're using PNPM, so I need to do PNPX rather than just NPX. Just so I was using the same versions of everything. Yeah, so this should install everything. It'll pull the component and all of the code for that component into our project, and we can just start using it immediately. So this will run for a moment. Loading, checking registry. Installing dependencies. It's pulling in the project. If you have fast Wi-Fi, this will happen immediately. If you're running a live stream and sharing your screen, it might go at this pace. Also, as we go, feel free to drop questions in any of the chats for the live stream. I'll try to answer those as you are asking them. Great. It looks like we have our components. So we have 5 files created, some UI components, plus our wallet app. We can see that we now have this components folder with a wallet app created. That's pretty cool. Let's add this into our project. So let's go to app TSX, and we're going to import the wallet, or what is it, wallet app component from our wallet app that just got installed. And then we're going to add our wallet app into the code base. Yeah, all of the crazy AI completions is from Cursor. So I'm using Cursor as my ID, and it gives me a bunch of awesome AI completions for free. Now, since we've saved this, we should be able to access our example and see it, boom, our UI is done. We have the ability to send, receive. Yeah, we have to fix this a little bit, but that's okay. We're doing great. But our UI is effectively done. Next, we are going to open the wallet. So now that we have our UI done, we're going to move back to the Fedimint Web SDK code. When you start using the Fedimint Web SDK, the first thing you have to do is open the wallet. So here's a little bit of code to open the wallet. It consists of trying to open an existing wallet. So the first thing we do is we call wallet.open. That checks to see if there is an existing wallet already saved to the browser. If so, then we just open that wallet. If not, if it returns false, that means that we don't have a wallet saved in the browser, and we're going to call wallet.joinFederation to instantiate the wallet for the first time. And we're going to do this all inside of a useEffect hook, so it runs only when the components mount. So let's go to our wallet app component. We're going to paste in this code. We're going to import useEffects. Yeah, we have to import the wallet into this file now. Actually, let's get rid of this code real quick. So we have our wallet app. We are opening the wallet. So now, if we go back to our example, refresh, we should see some more logs. So we see that the wallet is trying to be opened, and we see that the success is true. What does this mean? Well, now we have a fully functioning wallet inside of the browser. To access it, we can type wallet, just wallet in the console. We can see that the wallet object exists. The reason why we're able to do this is because of that one line of code inside of wallet that attached wallet to global this. So that's very convenient for testing. We can run functions like wallet.balance.getBalance to check the balance of our wallet, and we can see that it returns 0. So it looks like the wallet is working as expected. Another cool thing is that we can see all of the resources being used. So this is actually connecting to a real federation already using WebSockets. We can see all of the WebSocket connections with each of the Federation Guardians being instantiated. Messages are flowing between them. That's really cool. We can also see in our application that a database has been created called FM Default. That's just the normal Fedimint wallet. and we can see that the database is being populated with some data. This is all good. As a developer, you don't have to worry about any of this, but this is just to show what is actually happening in the background, what the library is taking care of for you. So a lot of magic's going on, but you don't have to worry about it as a developer. Great. Let's just open up the console. Whoops. Let's open up the console here. And then let's keep on going. So we've opened the wallet. What's next? We want to subscribe to balances. With the Fedimint Web SDK, we have this convenient helper function called subscribe balance. What this will do is every time that the balance changes, it'll call this function and allow us to use that updated balance. So inside of your application, you don't have to refresh the balance. You don't have to check the balance periodically. The library will handle it for you. So we can copy this code, go back to our wallet app. We can paste it in here just like this. Just format it real quick. Now we can see that, so we already have a balance variable. That's great. We're going to await for the wallet to be open. That just stops for erase conditions from throwing any errors. We have this wallet.balance.subscribe balance function, and this subscribes to all of the balance updates. And then we're going to set the balance. We have to multiply it by 1/1000 because we're converting from millisatoshis to satoshis. And now, when we go back to our example, we should see that the balance is 0. Actually, this is a good time. Let's fix this. So we're not dealing in dollars. So we don't want to use that dollar. Let's do to fixed 0 because this is just sats, and we're just going to call this sats. And maybe also while we're at it, let's change this from my wallet to our Fedimint web wallet. Great. So current balance, 0 sats. Fantastic. So back to the slides. Let's handle creating invoices now. So we're going to use wallet.lightning.create. Forwards, we're going to convert the string amount into a number. Then we're going to call create invoice, and then we're going to set a new variable called generated invoice, which will let us show it in the UI. So we already have this handle receive function stubbed out, but we can just get rid of what the AI generated, paste in our function. We're missing this. Okay, we need to get rid of that and this. We also need to make it async. We also have to add this generated invoice state variable. So let's just create a new state variable called generated invoice. The AI is so smart. Then lastly, we're going to scroll down to the receive form. And underneath the form, we're going to add the generated invoice. So if the generated invoice exists, we're going to show the generated invoice. Actually, let's see. That looks good. Yeah, thanks, AI. We just have to wrap this in a React fragment so it doesn't throw any errors. Let's go below our generated invoice, and this should be all good. Let's go back to the example. Now we have our receive. We have to enter an amount to receive. We hit receive, and boom, we have a generated invoice. It looks kind of wonky, but that's okay for our demo. But this is a real Lightning invoice, and it already works. So we can grab this to test it out. We're using the Fedimint testnet federation. So we can go to the Fedi testnet faucet. This is at alpha.fedi.xyz. This is a website for testing your Fedimint apps. It gives you the invite code that we use to join, as well as these helper functions for sending and receiving satoshis. So for receiving sats, you can receive up to 10K sats for testing. We're going to paste in our request, hit receive. Maximum amount's 10,000. We asked for too many sats. Let's change that to 100 sats. We have a new invoice. Let's go back to the faucet. And now this is paying. Great. So we've paid the invoice, and now sooner or later, we should see our balance update. We can see that in the background, the Lightning Gateway, or basically the Fedimint protocol, realized that we just got paid, and it communicated to our wallet that we had some money. So we now have 100 sats in our wallet. We didn't have to refresh the balance because we're subscribing to the balance updates. So this will always be up to date. And yeah, so we have working receives now over Lightning. Next, let's handle paying. So this is very similar to receiving over Lightning. We just call this wallet.lightning.pay invoice function and pass in a Lightning invoice, and we will see the result. So let's grab this handle send, and we're going to paste that down here. Let's delete the one that it already gave. And this should let us pay Lightning invoices. I think one thing's going to be wrong, but let's see. So we're going to hit send now. We have an amount to send. Yeah, so this is wrong. So this should be a string, but let's fix that real quick. So we have send, we have a button, we have an input. The type is number. It should not be number. It should be a string, which is default. Then we should have, enter invoice. That's great. And this looks good now. So we now have enter invoice to send. Let's go to the Fedi testnet and ask for an invoice for 10 sats. We have an invoice. Let's copy that and go back to our demo app. We can paste in the invoice and hit send. And this should pay the invoice. And then once the invoice settles, it should update our balance. We did it. We have a wallet that sends and receives Bitcoin over Lightning using the Fedimint Web SDK. And I think it all happened in basically 20 minutes. We only started 40 minutes ago, but I think I rambled for a little bit. So yeah, we have a working wallet that sends and receives over Lightning using the Fedimint Web SDK. I don't think there's any other toolkit in Bitcoin that can let you set up a wallet like this fast. So very, very exciting. The result is we did it. We just made a Fedimint wallet using nothing but TypeScript and normal application developer tools. We didn't need to touch Rust. And the result is we've increased the number of Fedimint supported wallets to about 5 in the world, just right now on this live stream together. So that's very exciting. The result is that we now have an SDK that lets you build apps using Fedimint. And I don't think it's an overstatement to say that this is now the easiest way to make a wallet in all of Bitcoin, which is kind of crazy because Fedimint was maybe the hardest way to make a wallet in the past. Now it's probably the easiest. With 10-ish lines of code, your wallet just works and it has all of the features out of the box. You don't need to worry about all of the complexities of the protocol that you're dealing with. The SDK kind of handles it for you, and it gives your users a safe, robust, privacy-focused wallet out of the box. So the next steps, now that you're aware of the Fedimint Web SDK, we want you to go build something. We want you to use the Fedimint Web SDK, build wallets yourself, go to a hackathon, build a wallet. Another thing that we're looking for is for JavaScript library devs. If you have maintained a JavaScript library in the past and are interested in contributing to this project, we would love to have your input. We also have a React hooks library that has recently been released. So this library is out there. You can get it at Fedimint/React. So you can just npm install at Fedimint/React. This makes the developer experience even easier. You can wrap your app in a Fedimint wallet provider and then just use these hooks rather than having to implement the subscription functions yourself. You can just wrap your app in this provider and then just hook into the state just like this. This makes it even easier so to create a wallet using Fedimint. One thing that we're working on, oh yeah, docs are still a work in progress for this library. That's why I didn't present it today, is because there are no docs for users to use this yet. One thing that we're actively working on is React Native support. Right now, this wallet this SDK relies on WASM, which only works inside of web browsers. So it's not accessible to native app developers building iOS and Android apps. But we're working on React Native support, so you will be able to use the Fedimint Web SDK. Yeah, we're going to have to change the name because right now it's Fedimint Web SDK, and it will just be a Fedimint SDK afterwards. But you'll be able to use what you saw today inside of your native applications in a few weeks, hopefully. And also backup recovery. Yeah, just keep in mind, this is early software. Backup recovery is not implemented, so we probably we do not recommend you deploying this to thousands and thousands of users quite yet. But once we add this, it will be fully ready and fully functional. I implore everybody to join the revolution. There's a lot of people out there already tinkering with the Fedimint Web SDK, and they are finding it as easy as anything that they've used. A shout out to the Atlanta Bitcoin community. The Atlanta Bitcoin community has been wanting to build a wallet for their community for a long time, but they're very busy people, and there wasn't a set of tools that they could use that would allow them to build the features that they wanted in a reasonable amount of time. And in about 2 hours of hacking with the Fedimint Web SDK, they were able to get a fully functioning eCash wallet built for their users, which is super exciting. Also, shout out to Ironclad Dev, who has built, I think, the best looking Bitcoin web extension on the planet using the Fedimint Web SDK. So this isn't currently or isn't released quite yet, but you can check out his repository here. Yeah, go to web.fedimint.org to check out the documentation. We spent a lot of time and effort making those docs navigatable and hopefully intuitive. So check out the Getting Started guide. Check out the examples. We have live examples of projects that use the Fedimint Web SDK. So you can go to the Examples tab, and you can see that there are live previews of working projects inside. This is going to hog my bandwidth, so I'm going to navigate away from it. But you can actually see a working project in the browser using the Fedimint Web SDK. That is all I have. I really appreciate everybody joining. With that, we're going to open it up for Q&A, for questions. So if you have any questions about the Fedimint Web SDK or using Fedi or anything under the sun, now is the time. All right. Hey, how are ya? Could you talk a bit more on how backup recovery could look on the Web SDK when ready? Yeah, so how backup recovery is going to work is one of two things is going to happen. Yeah, one of two things is going to happen. Either the user is going to create their own seed, and then yeah, the user is either going to create their own seed and bring it to the wallet, and then they're going to initialize the backup. So they're going to pass a seed phrase to the SDK, and then that is going to create a backup that's hosted on the cloud, or it's hosted in the Fedimint Guardian servers, and then there's going to be a recovery path. So you can call wallet.recovery. Try to recover or something like that, and then pass in the same seed phrase, and that should allow you to pull in the backup from the Guardians. So it'll work just like in the Fedi app, except that it'll just be exposed in the Web SDK. Any other questions? Yeah, so to ask questions, we encourage you to join the Discord. So we have a Discord at, I think it's at chat.fedimint.org, but you can also just scan the QR code on screen and send any questions that you have our way. You can also just post questions on YouTube or your Nostr live stream, whatever you're on. If you're live streaming on X, that chat is not working right now. So just navigate over to the YouTube or the Nostr live stream and ask your questions there or in the Discord itself. We have a question. When will Fedi have a built-in on-chain Bitcoin receive? New users are going to have a hard time understanding the need to send it to a third party and then send a Lightning payment instead. Built-in on-chain receive. New users have a hard time understanding the need to send it to a third party and then send. Okay. So right now in the Fedi app, if you want to receive over Lightning, you have to go through a swap provider. This is an atomic swap. It's completely safe. It's trustless. But you have to go through a third party and then receive over Lightning. This is actively being worked on, making it safer. Right now, there's just a few different situations with the fee environment just to, that we have to solve to make sure that it's completely impossible for users to lose funds. Yeah, so right now it's while it does work for the vast majority of users, we just want to make sure that everybody's completely safe before releasing that feature. So that's why you can't do it today, but it will be coming soon. Next question. What's the best way to stay up to date on this effort as it becomes available for iOS native apps? Great question. I recommend following the Fedimint social channels. So you can go to x.com/Fedimint. I'm pretty sure we have the Fedimint handle. As soon as that library is available, it will be announced on the Fedimint Twitter handle. Also, if you have any asks, if you have an idea of how to use this in your own app, please let us know ahead of time. So join the Fedimint Discord. There is a Web SDK Discord channel, so you can put feature requests. Even if you're just planning on using the SDK just normally for native when it comes out, please put that. Say that I want the native SDK in the Fedimint Discord. That will help us internally prioritize it and get it out to you faster. Next question. Any extra logic required to handling closing the WASM connection? Great question. Technically, you don't have to do anything. You could just leave the wallet open, and just when the user navigates away, the browser is smart enough to clean up all those resources. However, there is a cleanup function. You can call wallet.cleanup after you're done using your wallet, and that will close all of the. It'll close the web worker. It will close the WebSocket connections, and it will clean up the resources. So if you have a larger application that has more than just the wallet, and you want to spin up the wallet and spin down the wallet just when the users are using those features, you can do so. But just keep in mind, after you call cleanup, you will have to initialize the wallet again. And there's information in the docs about how to do that. Do I need to be a Fedimint Guardian to use the SDK? Great question. No, you do not. The Fedimint Web SDK is for building wallets for users, not for Guardians. So anybody that builds an application using the Fedimint Web SDK, they can give it to any user and they can connect to any federation that they have an invite code for. No, you do not need to be a Guardian to use the Fedimint Web SDK. Reality King with another question. Anything specific I would like to see built with the SDK? Great question. I would love just to see a bunch of people trying to use it building simple wallets. I think if a bunch of people just try to use it and get their hands dirty with Fedimint, they can learn how Fedimint works a little bit, and they can start using it. That would be fantastic. I would also love to see more existing wallets add Fedimint support. Using the Web SDK becomes incredibly easy to add melting Fedimint eCash into your wallet. We're going to have a how-to guide coming out at some point for how to add melting, just the melting part, basically to how to add the ability to receive Fedimint eCash into your application quickly. And once that's available, I don't see a reason why every wallet out there wouldn't want to implement this. Any wallet that supports Lightning could also receive Fedimint eCash just by going through the melting path. So that could be very, very cool as well. Can I use the Fedimint Web SDK to create a Fedi mod, or is that different? Great question. The Fedi mods are something different. So if you want people to be using the Fedi app specifically, which is a great option, you would not be using the Fedimint Web SDK. The Fedi app has implemented the Fedimint client or the Fedimint client SDK before the Web SDK existed. And it's the Fedi app is what is your wallet. So the Fedi app serves as the user's wallet. If you want to use the Fedimint Web SDK, that would be the user's wallet. So they both kind of do the similar things. So yeah, if you're using a Fedi mod, you don't need to touch the Fedimint Web SDK. PCAR domains in combination with federation. No more ICANN censorable domains, and I don't want to have my ID connected with my domain. Would love to see built-in support for this in the app. Great question. Let me try to parse what you're asking. No more okay. So it sounds like you're suggesting another alternative to using just normal DNS domains for hosting Guardians. This is something we're looking into actively. We do not want to have to be reliant on the domain authorities to keep our Guardians accessible. One thing we're looking into specifically is called the IRO protocol, IROAH, IRO. That is definitely misspelled, but it's called the IRO protocol. It's a very futuristic networking protocol that should remove the need for using DNS. So PCAR domains, I'm not sure what those are, but we are actively trying to solve this problem. Any other questions? IRO, I-R-O-H. Thank you, Jefferson. IRO uses pair as well. Oh, that's cool. So it sounds like what you recommended is actually what we're going to be implementing momentarily. PCAR, P-K-A-R-R. FYI, Xinfo indicated a 12 p.m. Eastern time start, so you may have another wave of folks joining in a few minutes. Oh, interesting. Okay. Are you sure like daylight savings? Yeah. Pretty sure Eastern time. I thought we started on time, but maybe we didn't. Anywho, if there's no other questions, thank you everybody for joining. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you over the past hour. We went through a lot of topics, or we went through a lot of different things, but that's all the time we have for today. As always, we're very excited to have you on this journey with us building Fedimint applications and using the Fedi app. We'll see you in about a month with more exciting updates from the Fedi team. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.